Hello and welcome to the stream for today. The goal of today is just to have a bit of fun using a variety of different combo decks. So I'm not going to really be going too hard in terms of the climbing ladder. I'm just trying to test some things and see what things are and see how different decks play. So we'll have a go into it and see how we go. I have dropped quite a few ranks because I've been trying out a variety of different decks just to see what I feel like playing or what could be interesting to play. And we'll at the moment we're playing Mage. This is a Mage list that was recommended to try out that uses Sif, and we'll just see how we end up going with it. Because ultimately, with combo decks and things like that, they can be quite tricky. Yeah, so we'll see how we end up going. They are always going to be challenging into different metagames, but you just try out what you've got and see how you go. Drawing into this is really good. Being able to use this card allows you to get a lot of different cheap spells. The Infantinize, the Maxitude. Sif obviously is your main win condition because you're wanting to use a variety of different spell types to be able to get the big buffs onto it. It's possible they're actually playing the same deck as me. So I'm just going to use my Maxitude now and get out a card. I think it's always just going to be Light Show here. I could always get Pocket Dimension if I wanted to. Gets me a variety of different spells. Or I could get Explosive Runes. It means that I have a fire spell online. I think it might just be Explosive Runes, because I could possibly just play it on their Sif turn that they're going to try and do, and it means that they wouldn't be able to play it. And it would just take them out. Okay, so they're using Discovery of Magic. That's fine. And they're going to use Pop-Up Book. So, they've got a Holy and a Nature spell online. I don't have any at the moment. I think I just want to get another one of the Maxitude spells, so I'm just going to use Divine Brew here and then the Maxitude. It means that they have to use a ping to be able to get into me, and I also get the buff. I think it's just going to be volume up here. That's not very useful for me. That could be because I do get the extra buffs for the different variety of spells that I have. But is the game going to last long enough to really bother with that? It will be turn 6. So actually I will grab that one. So next turn's probably going to be Stargrazing into, hopefully into Primordial Glyph. So Stargrazing, it gets me the Arcane spell into the pool. Unfortunately I got the Wisdom, so just is what it is. If I use Maxitude here, it means I'm going to overdraw. This can clear the board for me if I need to. So I think I just play, if I play the Explosive Runes though, it means that I won't be able to, it means I won't go too well into this. I won't be able to use it for the Sif. I will just use it just to play it down to get it out of my hand. Okay, so they popped my Divine Shield. Not too worried about that. They're also drawing 2 new cards. And they're doing another Hero Power. So Flame Guys, it can get a Fire spell online, but I've already used a Fire spell, so I don't need to use that right now. I'll just use the Wisdom. They know that I got an Arcane spell, so I'll just use this one to get out of my hand. Adding a Frost spell to the pool will be quite good, so I can just use that a few times. Use that once to get into the pool. The problem is now I do have a full hand, so I think I'm going to have to use the Flame Geyser here. They won't be able to get up too high extra mana and health, so I'll just play those down and just leave it with that. Next turn I'm going to play down Incendious down, or I could do Elemental Inspiration. I think that Elemental Inspiration might be the better play here. Or they do have the Incendious, so I don't actually want to be leaving that on the board just by itself. I can't clear it. Oh, I can clear it with that. this gets me 4. If one has rush, I'm able to clear. None do, so I'm just gonna have to just hit into it and then see how they go. They do get to hit 2 into each of my minions with their thing. I'm hoping they don't have another wisdom, because if they do, it could be a bit of a problem for me. They get the AoE, so that's a bit unfortunate. And they're going to use Divine Brew onto it. Okay, so I am going to have to definitely clear it now. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have gone for the risk in that situation. Use this. And I'll just use Discovery of Magic to get me another spell. It'll just be the Seedling, I think, to get a little bit of extra armor. The problem is they're going to be quite close with their Sif now. And I do need to get my Incendius online before they end up being able to take it out relatively easily. Okay, so they got their Maxitude in their hand. It's just going to be Incendius here. And I'll use the Sea Breeze and play down my Miracle Salesman. Okay, so they've overdrawn their Sleet, which is fine. I still don't have any way to get a combo for my Sif yet with the copying of it. Okay, so they've used a Chalice, that's fine. They can take it out if they just use a bunch of Chalices this turn. But in reality, doing that means that they're not really doing anything else. Okay, so my Incendius gets to survive an extra turn as well. I do need to make sure that I'm getting some armor gain now. Okay, so 1 Eruption goes into the board. 2 Eruptions. 3 Eruptions. So that's probably not a great thing for me, because with the Eruptions going off, it means that they're not getting any extra buffs by having the Incendius on the board here. So I'm going to play down my Artificer and I'll use the Glyph. I'm looking for some burn. Tsunami is actually pretty good, I think, because I can play it down this turn if I want to. I think I do. It applies pressure onto them. And it also gives me that extra buff going into my hand. Sorry, it applies extra armor going onto me, so it means they might not be able to combo me as easily. If they aren't able to take this out, it means I'm in a relatively decent position. Okay, so they can only take out 2. It means that they're going to go down to 22. I could use a ping here to make sure I'm not wasting anything. I think that's probably going to end up being the case, so I'll use the Lotus Blossom first to draw a card and see what I get. Got an Eruption, so it hits into that. My Sif's dealing 6 damage at the moment, so that deals 6. It's not likely I'm going to get another Eruption off. So I'm probably just going to have to take another turn to chill. Use the Discovery of Magic. And I'll grab the Warp Drive just in case. And I'm going to put a Divine Shield onto myself, and I do want to use a Maxitude this turn, so I'm going to draw and see what I end up getting first. And I have to put this last one onto... I'll put it onto one of these, and I'll use a Maxitude. I'll grab the Glyph, and then go face. I should be relatively safe. Like, they need to have another one of their low-cost minions instead of Sif. Otherwise, they just will end up losing with the Sif being there. They are testing at the moment to make sure that I don't have the I'm not using the explosive runes onto them. I'm just using a solar flow which clears. And then another maxitude. So I'm dealing +7 now. Okay, so just ping, that's always going to be the case to get rid of that. Use one of the glyphs. I'll grab the supernova, because with the supernova it means that I can get the Sif quite cheap if I do get some burn spells. It means I'm just going to have to use all this other stuff as well. That's really good. Just play this onto me. I'm fine overdrawing this now. Grab that. And this should be a win next turn, provided they don't end up getting the win. Using the spell, I don't think that really matters to me for this. Okay, so they're getting rid of the buff. So if I go Sif, Ping, and Forge, that's 30 damage. I'm still 1 damage off, I think. 2 damage off. So if I go, I could go Sif. This only deals 10. Snake oil. So yeah, that's lethal there. So I go Sif, Ping, Molten Rune, and then Snake Oil. Okay. So in terms of decks that this would be decent into, this would be relatively strong going into decks such as like it I feel like it wouldn't be very strong going into Rogue, like Cycle Rogue and things like that, so that's probably the reason why it's not really seeing much play at the moment. Once Cycle Rogue does obviously get that nerf later today or tomorrow, depending on where you are, it should mean that the it should mean that the it should mean that it's going to, you know, not be very viable, I'd say, going into the expansion. Yeah, so okay, so I've got a what opponent am I playing? I'm playing against a Paladin. So Stargrazing is always going to be decent, but I don't really want to use it just yet. I want that to be one of the later spells to be using. So I will keep it in my hand because it means it can go off twice. I think I'll mulligan these two and I'll keep the Primordial Glyph as well, just in case I need it. Okay, this is going to be a decent turn for this one, so I'm hoping to get a relatively low-cost spell and be able to apply pressure using my Sand Sculpture. Just wait and see what type of Paladin they are playing, because they'll either be hand buff or they'll be Lanessa. Based on that, it's going to be a Lanessa Paladin. I'll have to use my Artificers to be able to boost up my armor. Okay, always going to be Glyph here. Grab the Light Show, I'd say. Just pass over to them. This is useful when using it with Sif, because the damage is procced twice with the amount of damage it does. Okay, 2/2/7s. They've got the Titan and they're getting 2 of their other 2 drops. I get my own Miracle Salesman, which is decent. But The problem is Stargrazing still's too far away, but I do need to make sure that I'm getting my other spells used. So I'm going to use the Void Scripture to be able to get the two things reduced. And I think I just go for the Elemental Companion here, and I play down my Miracle Salesman. It possibly was better just using Light Show here to be able to get rid of some of this damage that's threatening me here. But I am hoping to be able to use the Sculptor Coin and Light Show all on the same turn. It looks like they're all just, each of those shots are just going face, so I'm going to have to just go 2-2 into here and then see I end up going with it. So I'm going to go the Sculpture, I go the Coin, trade into here, and then I use the Light Show and hope that the beams hit into some of the decent choices. I should have traded that instead. That was a mistake for it. Next turn's probably going to have to be Artificer plus Stargazing. And then hope that it hits the Glyph. If it hits the Wisdom of the Wisdom, it means that I won't be able to use it for me. I won't be able to use it at all. Looks like they're just going to trade. Okay. Gorgonzormu, that's fine. I could use the Skeet Skater. Gets me some armor. That probably is going to be the better play, so we'll just use the Skeet Skater here and just go face. They aren't able to trade into it doing it that way, so they'll have to, if they are wanting to trade into something, they'll have to take out my Miracle Salesman. They're playing down there Incendious. I don't have a way to deal with it just yet with these minions here. I get the Wisdom, so it means that it's possible my Artificer may come online. I'm just going to trade the... I'm not able to deal with the Incendious at the moment, so I'm just going to have to actually just trade into the 3-3 and go face with the other two. They shouldn't be able to trade into my Incendious unless they have different buffs. It is possible they may have lethal as well if they do have the Lanessa in their hand. Because I know you can quite easily get lethal if you have some O-Managers and Lanessa. Plus some of the Divine Brew and things like that. The only benefit that I do have is they haven't played any of the 2-drops down the Silverwings. They're playing down that Peacekeeper, which means they can trade into that 2-10 now. Okay, so they're taking out my Incendious, and I think the rest is probably just going to go face. No, they're just trading. Okay. So, the issue that I have here is if I end up, I can't let this survive, but I also can't let that survive as well. So I'll just use the Stargrazing and see what I end up getting. I do get the Glyph, so I can use this twice. Frostbolt's always good. It's never that. I think it's Tsunami here. I think I might need to just freeze the Titan. The problem is I'm not really establishing anything doing it that way. But it means they can't get any draws coming out of their deck. And I'll just pass. I don't have enough of my different spell types used as well, which is a bit difficult. Because if I did, I would be able to deal a decent amount using just these that are in my hand. Okay, so I'll just use this and see what I end up getting. None of these are very useful. That's not useful for me either. I can use the fire spell, so it can make it a little bit cheaper for my others, for this. Problem is they've got so much damage just sitting on board. I need to freeze this, because, well, take it out or freeze it, but I can't too easily. So just send a flame into that. Use this. Get an eruption so I can deal 2. I got my sift now. But I think it's going to be game over before I can even use it. So I use freeze. Ping. They've still got too much damage here. I think that's just lethal. 10, yeah, there's 15 damage in hand. It is a little bit tricky using, like, I find it hard using these sorts of combo decks, like just relying on the one particular card that you aren't able to just search out really easily, because if you don't draw it until later, or if you do draw it in later, it means you can't plan out as easily your combo turns. So it does make it a little bit trickier deciding when to play certain cards and when to hold them. Okay, so I'm playing against a rogue. It's more than likely going to be a cycle rogue, because obviously with cycle just about to leave, a lot of people want to be playing that before their favorite deck ends up going. I'll keep the Divine Brew just in case. I'll use this because it will think that they might think I'm an Elemental Shaman for the first time. Plus, like, rogues don't have any way to heal. They don't use it. Just use this. I'll play down my Flame Elemental as well, just to get it onto the board. It's likely they'll be able to take it out using a backstab if they're really wanting to, but they may end up just leaving it, and it means that I can use my Wisdom of Norgan next turn. Just using the quick pick hitting in my face, it's fine. I still don't particularly know what I'm playing into just yet. Got another Divine Brew, that's fine. Hi Ice, how you doing? I'm going to use the Wisdom, draw some cards, see what I get. It's fine. Incendious should be okay to put down. Like, I feel like I'll have enough of a... I feel like they'll give me enough of a turn to be able to play it. Possibly. Just to see how they end up drawing. And they're using the... they're leaving the Oracle on the board. I don't have a way to punish it, unfortunately, though. I don't really want to just play this down either, because they'll probably just take it. So maybe I just play this, and then I just go face with the ping. It means that it reduces down the likelihood of them having something decent in their hand to be able to draw extra cards, and it makes it a bit awkward for them to cycle. Okay, so dig for treasure, Mauler. They might have the Shadow Step. If they have the Shadow Step and then coin, it means they can they can use the Oracle to take out with the Oracle. I can clear this board using this. I think I do, just because I don't really want the Oracle to be surviving. And if they don't have access to the Oracle, it's likely they may not have access to a Giant turn next turn. Using coin, Incendious, so they're getting their play out as well. I can use my skater whenever they do play down there. Play down their giants. Reverberations is decent. Like, I will be able to copy it next turn and get a bigger buff onto my ones. Especially if they aren't able to take out my Incendius this turn. Okay, they are. I think they're just using Dubious Purchase. Yeah. So next turn, I think they're gonna have giants coming onto the board this turn. I think they're up to 20 now. What do you think the best decks for Legend right now? It's still Cycle Rogue, like it's always going to be quite powerful until it gets nerfed. But with the nerf coming later today or tomorrow, I don't think it's. I think it's more so just necessary to have fun at the moment with what's being played. I could do double Reverberation. The problem is I wouldn't be able to clear if I did that. I really don't want these eruptions getting any bigger though. I think I'm just going to gain the armor using it on these giants. And then just play my Miracle Salesman. Thank you, that's very kind. Yeah, like, so for Legend right now, it definitely would be Cycle Rogue. And then obviously counters for Cycle Rogue, because Cycle Rogue's just very, very strong. Your other choices, like you could... Oh, no, another Incendius. Yeah, it's definitely Cycle Rogue. Youngar's decent, but you obviously need to draw decently with it. Shafar Rogue, if you know how to do your different lines, that's always strong. So if I go Reverberations here and Reverberations here, I can trade into that. Trade into that. And then ping this. Okay, so they're using an Eruption. That does clear my Incendius, but I did get an extra buff. That's the reason why I did use it like that. An issue that I do have at the moment is they can still deal quite a lot of damage from hand. They still have the Oracle and Blood Mage as well, and they're going into turn 8. Okay, so they've used the prep. So that's dealing 6, that's a lot. 4. And then quick pick. They probably have a fan as well, I'd say. Okay. Option for 3. That might end up just getting me to die. I think it did. Lol. Oh dear. I haven't won against the spell damage Elemental Mage very much. It seems like a good fun deck. Is that the one that uses Light Show and things? Let's have a try a Wheel Warlock. I was having a go with that last night and it was pretty fun. Like, I feel like if the meta does slow down, or even if the meta is quite aggressive, this is quite a strong deck to be playing. Without Cycle Rogue being in format, I think it's quite decent. Lanessa obviously gives it a bit of pain, but yeah. Any of the decks that can just combo quite easily through it will obviously be a bit painful for it. No, so I'm playing the one that has the, Loken. So it gets the big taunt. Keep the harp string. I'll keep domino effect as well, because it's more than likely I'm playing a swarm shaman. I'll put the deck list in here. So I can either use the fracking or I can use the harp. I think it's probably more important I get some cards to make sure that I'm certain of what I'm dealing into. They're more than likely also playing a swarm list, so it's probably better just getting the fracking here and just letting my destroyer go. Kill Jaden's going to be quite interesting once the meta slows down a bit, but while the meta's still very fast, it's still a bit average because of that. I think I just do another one and see what I end up getting. It's either going to be Endgame or Forge of Wills. I think it's Forge of Wills here, and then just play down the harp. With Turbolus being in their hand, if they have a backstage bouncer, they can trade really well doing that. So I think I'm going to have to use the domino effect here. I think the domino effect goes here because it reduces... It kills this, and it means there's only one minion still left alive doing that. If they get a... Oh, they got the Zephyrs. So this next turn might just be... Oh, what's this? Pop-up book. I'm hoping for a Defile. Table Flip's decent as well. Table Flip clears this board. They're dealing 7 at the moment, so I think it's probably best just playing the Table Flip and chilling. So using the Trusty Companion, they don't have a totem that's come into their hand as well, so I think I can just use a hero power here. Lets me draw another card. And it might be good just to get the Forge of Wills out onto the field, just so the next turn I can apply some pressure. Okay, so with that, they have the availability where they can use Hex and also the Tide Caller, and that wouldn't be lethal doing it that way. I don't think there's a way they can get lethal if I do just play this down. So, Hero Power first to get a bigger buff, but also it heals me here. Then use the Ally Pact. And I can either choose to be greedy, or just rush in. I'm not going to choose to be greedy, just because if I did, and they did have those exact 2 cards, they would be able to take out this board. Next turn, if I need to, I can go Dark Alley and then Health Drink to heal up a little bit. So They're taking up my 7th, so they're just trading, which is fine for me. And they're putting a trusty companion down. That's okay. They obviously didn't have Hex doing it that way. This can get Ceaseless Expanse out, so it has a 15-15. If they have Poisonous, that's the only issue I can come up against by doing it that particular way. But there's not a better play, I don't think, than just using it and jamming it down. Divine Shield doesn't clear it either. If they have Hex, they have Lethal? Do they? Oh. What are they trading for? I don't know why they traded that. Okay, so just take out these two dudes. They will be able to trade into that next turn, but I can use the Lord of the Opera next turn as well. I also will have access to Ziliax. I could have played around it by just having the health drink instead of playing down the extra guy. Yeah, I think they were BMing. I'm not 100% sure though. I sure hope they were BMing because that was awful if they weren't. So destroying my 15-15 was obviously the kicker in that game. I think it's Demon Hunter. That should be fine. I'm just in this situation. I'm just trying to get as much of my lower curve as possible to be able to get lifesteal. I will get rid of the Putrid as well. The Putrid's decent because you can use it to get lifesteal with its sludges, but Table Flip is obviously the thing that I'm using. I've played Asteroid Shaman a little bit, but I haven't played it too much since I started playing Circle Rogue and things. Playing against Demon Hunter, they'll obviously be going quite aggressive, so I'm also looking for the healing cards too. So there's nothing I can do with this hand at the moment. They're just doing a Demon Claws, so it means they're obviously not establishing anything, which is good. I just use a hero power here and draw. That's not great. Ugh. Because you want to have one of these so you can use your Loken to get out one of the 15-15s, then have a rush. But it's fine. Like it should be okay. Like I should be able to get enough lifesteal and things like that to be able to get where I need to be. Use this. It's either health drink or table flip. I think it's health drink here just because I want to be able to heal. Be able to heal against them. Oh, it should be fine. Okay, so if I hero power and then table flip, doesn't really deal with that. Reverberations will be able to deal with it next turn. So I think I just use the health drink here and hit into the 2-3. Next turn's probably going to be Reverberations table flip. Clears this board. It leaves me with a 10-10. If they don't have a way to AoE or just to snipe it at all, I end up getting the 20 damage onto them. Okay, so Reverberations. Table flip, it clears that. Go down to 9 that way though, so it's a little bit scary. Obviously they do have the double acupuncture, can't really play around that. Yeah, there wasn't really too much I could do in that sort of situation. Have another go. Because if you do end up drawing that higher curve, like it's obviously just going to be a loss because you're basically wanting to get your earlier curve, and you have so many earlier cards to be able to take them out. Like if I had a Defile in that situation, for example, it means I wouldn't have been stuck dealing the 3 damage to my face as well. But they did have double acupuncture, so it was always going to be pretty tricky to be able to survive against it. Okay, so I'm playing against a warrior. This should be a decent matchup for me. Okay, so I've got the harp. That's something that's important to keep, but I'm not going to be using it until later on because it's probably going to be a wheel angle that I'll be using for this. The only thing that I do need to watch out for is if they use Odin and then they get like a big armor swing turn onto me and then just go face. The problem is with fracking, I don't really want to. I'm probably going to use it earlier rather than later just because I need to make sure that it's not getting 2 essential cards. Ceaseless Expanse is probably the most important of these. Unfortunately, Ziliax has to take the hit for it. Just going to hero power here and just pass. See, I don't really care if they're getting too much armor up at the moment. It's not a big issue for me. I think it's always just hero power first. Table flip's fine. It doesn't really mean too much for me. And I'll use fracking. Symphony of Sins is going to be the best here because I can use that to hopefully get the one that does the remove top 6 cards from your opponent's deck. It'll show me what I'm actually playing against because this is still at the moment could be a brand list. Just gonna use Ali Pack here. Just pass. Having an 8 damage on board is a decent size minion to be able to deal with them. Just using new height, so it means that I'm more than likely I'm just going to be able to deal the 8 damage to them. I will play down my weapon here and then just hero power and see. Got a Defile, that's fine. I don't really mind about them drawing at the moment because they weren't able to kill the 8-8 that turn, so it's quite likely that they're just going to keep overdrawing doing it this way. They lost their Ziliax, which is really bad for them as well. Okay, so they cleared the board doing it that way. I don't particularly have a play that I want to do, so I think I just use this turn. I could have used Endgame, but I am hoping to remove the cards like this one. It makes them have a lot worse of a situation against me. Okay, so they're an Infinite Warrior deck of sorts. It still could be a Reno list. Okay, it's not a Reno list because they got the 2 defense crystals. Without them having the Fizzle and the ETC, I should be relatively safe, so I'll just play down the Forge here. I'll play down the endgame, and then I'm going to get the buff onto it with the 8-8. Then just go face. Go into the crystal. They've also lost a hydration station, so they shouldn't be in a situation they really can deal with me. The only thing that I need to watch out for is if they get ham. Execute on my 8-8's fine. 8-5's fine. They got another Traveler, so this is more than likely guaranteed ham. Which means that it would take out my Titan. Which is obviously not preferred, or not ideal. I can draw a minion so I can get it out of the deck. Oh no, it's not that, it's still this one. Do you mean this deck? It doesn't really matter too much what I do here, so I'm just going to table flip. I don't really want to waste, I don't really want to overdraw. Pass. Like, because they ended up getting the ham just then, so that's going to get rid of my... It either could get rid of my Titan or it could get rid of my Jailer. They don't have any more cards in their deck to be able to use as well. It's also quite likely that their ETC had the Bombast in it too. They've only got 2 cards in their deck, so it's probably not worthwhile here using the reverberations onto it. Just use this. Go face. Get out the extra rush minion and just chill. Yeah, I think it's just chill here, because they'll still have a brawl in there. Oh no, they don't have. They might not have access to a brawl. Both of their Garish's gifts are being used. That's a little bit scary because I don't have the. I still don't have my Wheel of Death. They still have access to a Ceaseless Expanse too. I don't have any way to just get out the Wheel of Death from my deck. Okay, I'll just chill like that. They are now in fatigue. I think they're gonna play their. They can't play their Ceaseless down at the moment. Like, they need to deal a little bit more stuff. Okay, so they're sanitizing to AoE the board. They're on fatigue though, so maybe I just chill here. They don't have their Fizzle. They only have Ceaseless Expanse. I think I just chill. So that's their Starship piece. This clears, obviously. It's just Wrath here. Clears the board, I don't take any damage. And just chill. So there's 5 TNTs still in my deck. He's got 16 health. They still have the Ceaseless Expanse in their hand, which is the reason why I'm still not out of the woods just yet. So I think if I go Reverberations onto this, I think that's going to have to be the play to make sure I can clear it. And then I use the... If I use the Domino, it still doesn't clear that. If I use 2 Sludges, it does, but it means that I'm very open to the... I'm very open to the TNTs, so I think I'll just go for it anyway, because I've still got quite a few cards in my hand, and the only card I don't want it to hit is the Ceaseless Expanse. But there is 5 TNTs in that deck, so it's not great. Okay, so they're just armoring up. I don't really mind about that. So I think that will force them into playing their Ceaseless. I don't think they'll let that just stick on the field. Like, it obviously is... Yeah. I don't... I've still got 2 cards left in my deck. I've got 4 TNTs. I won't be able to access the wheel probably this game, which is a bit unfortunate. I want to hold that. My wheel's more than likely getting discarded this game. If I do draw into the wheel before a TNT, so if the TNT hits my table flip and then I draw into a wheel, that's perfect. Okay, they're up to taking 7. Could they have a weapon? Okay, so let's count up the damage because... Okay, so I go into 5 next turn. That's 10. I think I lose, because that's going to be their Ceaseless Expanse in their hand. So take 6. Yeah, I'm gonna be 1 damage too much taken. Because I take... Hold on, no. I'll take 10. Yeah. So, if I play the Ceaseless here, they're taking 10, then 11, then 12. They're gonna win. I'll just play the Ceaseless and then hope that they don't have a... Hope for some reason they don't have a Ceaseless in their hand, but I highly doubt that. Oh, damn. Yeah, that match was really weird. It would have been... I feel like I probably shouldn't have used the Symphony of Sins before I got the wheel out, because in that game, the win condition is getting the wheel. But it does feel pretty bad. Like, I feel like I should have won that one. Oh well, I'm playing against a Paladin now. Elite Pack Reverberation's the endgame. So, get rid of Reverberations. Get rid of endgame and just keep Dark Alley Pack. These cards are fine. So, turn 1 I probably won't be doing anything. Turn 2 is Hero Power. Turn 3 is probably Hero Power. Turn 4 is play down one of these. I think also not getting the Titan in that game as well hurt too. So there was the two big misses was getting the Putrid instead of the Titan or the Jailer. So that was you know, 1/3 miss, and then also not having the wheel cost me too. Because if I had the Titan, I would have been able to use the Infinite Portal coming out. And since I'd milled a lot of those cards, it would have meant that there wouldn't have been any issue for me in terms of them being infinite. Yeah, so that was probably the two big changes. But then again, using the Symphony of Sins meant they didn't get their they weren't able to access the infinite combo too. Yeah, it is a little bit tough to decide whether that's you know, what, like, that was obviously a big miss getting this, but the wheel was definitely more important in that game, so I should have held the Symphony of Sins before getting until I got the wheel out of my deck. Okay, so just Hero Power. There isn't too much though. I don't know what Paladin I'm playing against at the moment either. Just want to be trying to get the access to the Dark Alley Pact. He's fracking as well. Grab the wheel just in case. I don't particularly know what they're playing and they haven't done anything. Get back a freebie after that last game, I guess. Okay, just play the 8/8 here. Next turn is probably just using another one. I think they've left. I don't know what we're doing here. This is a very exciting game. Lethal next turn with the Putrid. I guess it gets me back some of my points after the loss to the Warrior. Like, I don't know what the point of that game was. Like, it didn't say they had left either, so it's a bit strange. They may have, like, walked away from their computer and forgotten they were playing.
Your soul shall be mine!
Okay, so I think it's playing against a rogue, so it's probably just a full mulligan here. I could use this if I'm trying to get rid of their Oracle if they just tempo it out. But it's probably not worthwhile just in case they're playing Shafar or Weapon Rogue. Okay, this is really good. Then go turn 4, turn 5. Okay, fracking here. It's probably just table flip. It could be Reverberations, actually. Yeah, Reverberations allows me to trade into Giants if they are using the Giants, so I'll just go with that play. Quick pick. Next turn's Hero Power for me. Okay, so I got the Mortal Eradication. I think it's, so this turn's probably going to be possibly Health Drink, just depends on what they end up doing. If they don't do that anything, it does make it a little bit trickier. They're doing a Mauler, so yeah, it's just going to be Health Drink and chill. This is turn 4, this is turn 5. Okay, so Health Drink, just pass. Turn 4 is just playing Forge of Wills down. It means that it's slower for them getting their Giants out as well, because they haven't got any minion to be trying to take out. So up to 13. They're probably just going to Shadow Step this. I play down my Forge of Wills. They might even have access to their Giants the next turn. Okay, so Fan of Knives, they've got an Asteroid, so it's quite likely they get the Giants out this turn. They're just getting one Giant out. That's fine by me. Cecil Sixpence. Double Dubious Purchase is the only thing that I'm worried about in this situation. Parslick can obviously clear.
Witness true arcane magic.
They've got the 2 Oracles. So if they go Tarslick, Fan of Knives, that clears.
How enigmatic.
But not if they trade like that. Okay, so it looks like they're just trading the whole thing away, so that's quite good for me. So if I go Reverberations, and then I can go Domino Effect, just clears that. Pass. So if they get Incendious, it could be a little bit of an issue for me. Because I don't have a particular way to clear it at the moment. I could just use Reverberations, actually. Okay. So, Defile? That clears it. Or I can use... I think I use this, because it means that they, it means that I get some more health. Just deciding whether hero power or not. So they've got 4 asteroids in their decks, that's 8 damage. Incendious will deal an extra... They could use a Shadow Step for Incendious though, so that's something I need to think of too. I'll just hold this turn, I don't need to use the hero power. Yes, Spaceship Rogue's quite interesting with how it is played, because you are able to do a lot of different combos with it. And then also being able to... Looks like they don't have the guy. Okay, so it's pretty much just win here, I think, because they... I can obviously clear this with Reverberations. They've got 10 damage plus 4 more, so that's only 18. I don't think there's any way they can really win this, so I'm just going to have to just make sure I'm playing carefully enough. I don't need to overextend or anything. Yeah, so Starship Rogue's interesting, but it feels a little bit inconsistent, because when you get Biopod, you're a lot stronger than if you don't. Okay. So that means that they're going to be starting to overdraw. They can do Ceaseless Expanse, then Shadow Step, I guess. They're not even doing that. So I just play down my Ceaseless Expanse. There's nothing in their deck anymore that they can really do. Play down the Putrid and then just go face? Yeah. Like, as soon as they lost both of their Oracles, they weren't really having a chance to be able to survive. Okay, so next round, next opponent. There's plenty of time to get back the ranks that I've been losing. Okay, playing against a Demon Hunter, it's going to be aggro, obviously. I keep Mortal Eradication. I get rid of Forge of Wills. I'll keep Domino Effect just in case, because it may be important. The file's quite good as well here. So I should be, with these cards, be able to get some sort of combo off that allows me to get some decent lifesteal. Okay, just hero power here. I need to get some more decent cards into my hand just in case. don't think it's worthwhile right now using any of these, so I'm just gonna take another turn just to chill. This obviously is quite strong as well. This is really good for this turn, these turns. Don't really need to clear this at the moment. Now I can clear it, and I can also then use the table flip at the same time. So it's just hero power table flip. Clears both of these. It means they don't have any more of just the easy damage coming out of their hand. The turn after is probably going to be health drink, but it does depend on what they are playing. I think I can just hero power here and then use health drink onto them. Problem is that I am going to overdraw like that. I don't want this to survive. This needs to die, obviously. It might actually be better just using the table flip and re-establishing the weapon. Because next turn I'm going to be using this, and I don't actually know if they'll be able to get through it. As long as I don't draw my Ceaseless Expanse, I'm going to have a 15-15. Actually, it's not guaranteed. It's a 75% chance. Okay, they got Oracle doing a headhunt, so they'll be able to get a bit of stuff, but maybe I do take another turn, just use the health drink to get some lifesteal. Because if I play down the big dude, they won't be able to clear it, but if they have the Aviana, they can just hit into face doing it that way, and then that will end up winning them the game. So I think it's probably more important just to heal some more. Because if they had hit the 15-15 and it had gone face, they would have ended up being able to win if they had Aviana, basically. Because I wouldn't have been able to get back that sort of amount of health. It's just clear this. So they've still got an Oracle, they've used one of their Acupunctures, so they are starting to run out of burst here.
Artillery reporting in.
Okay. I can just play down these two pretty safely this turn. If they have Oracle, they won't be able to deal enough. Yeah, I don't think there's anything they can really do to be able to take out this board very easily. Like, they can use Oracle, Acupuncture, Hot Coals. That does a little bit. Okay, they got 6. Going down swinging means that they can clear. I have so little health, which is the big concern here. Just use the fracking to see if I can get some more health back. Blade on the Putrid, it can heal me up a decent amount. I'm going to use this first, because then I can use my Sludge some more so I can heal more. Then I can deal the 4 to the face as well. Okay. So they've got the acupuncture, they're establishing a decent sized board. I do have access again to my Forge of Wills. This is getting Rush, so they can trade into that. Dealing 3 through that. If I have Ziliax, I win. Do I have any more heal cards in my deck? I have Symphony of Sins. So Hero Power to get me back up some health. That would have been better, obviously, last turn. I can play this down, and then I can play this down. What's the likelihood they're running the dude? Hot Coals won't be able to clear unless they deal some damage to their own face. Alright, let's change decks. Let's go Trample Hunter. That one's pretty fun. Okay, another aggressive deck. To be honest, with how many of these sorts of decks I've been playing against, it feels like that I always squelch before the BMs. Usually if they do that towards the end, I do just go for it. Go for the squelch. Okay, so this hand's really good if I can get access to a Warsong Grunt quite early. Always tracking here. Just grab this one so it gets me activated already, but I would, if I had something better to choose, I obviously would have chosen that. It's just the rest of those things weren't very useful. They've got the Spirit of the Team out. Explosive Trap doesn't really do anything at the moment, but I will just play it down so it's out of my hand. You always need to go for the Squelch at the end. Okay, so they know that I've used Explosive Trap now. Gorgonzormu's fine. Couple of Muscle obviously isn't doing anything. I don't really want to just use coin into alien encounters, that feels so bad, but I think it's probably the right play. Especially since an aggro deck. What feels bad is haven't drawn the correct things just yet. Like I've got all my stuff for the Warsong Grunt, but I just need the Warsong Grunt now. In fact, I'm pretty close on lethal in like a turn if I get the Warsong Grunt. If the top deck's the Warsong Grunt. Okay, so they have 4 in their hand at the moment. Just hitting into that. This has to go. Maybe just scare them a little bit. Let's just hit that. We'll just do it to scare them. Scare them. Because maybe they might do some bad trades if they look at that as happening. Okay, so they're hitting into there. They're dealing another 5 damage. Come on, Warsong Grunt, give it to me. Tracking's okay, I guess, at least. Okay, reserve spot, couple muscle. So Zerg with Death Knight, because it seems like that's going to be really quite strong. The Swarm and the rush ability of it's quite good as well. And then for the Protoss, I always like value, so the fact that you can use a lot of value is quite useful. It definitely is GG, because I just go next turn, I just go reserve spot into that. The only issue is if I end up drawing into another minion.
Risks are always worth taking.
Oh, it was close. Okay, reserve spot. Play this. Play this. Stick the well played onto them. It's so stupid. Like I was just doing nothing for the first 5 turns, and then I just take the lethal. How dumb. Obviously, with Dirty Rats being around, it is a bit of a problem for that. But if Dirty Rat does hit that card and they don't have a way to clear it or a way to take control of it or whatever, it means that you essentially still just win anyway. Okay, playing against a mage. I probably just want to. I probably still want to ditch the Grunt here because I'm trying to get the Niall out. Because if I don't get the Niall, it means that you're a lot further behind of what you need to be. The benefit, obviously, of this list is there's only the 3 cards, so it's a guaranteed Niall with the bird watching. I think I just grab Cup of Muscle here to get some buffs out. Next turn's bird watching into Niall. It gives me a 5/5 onto the board, which will be quite strong. Greedy Partner, so they're probably playing the Supernova Mage. Just play down bird watching here. Grab at the Niall. The worst card to draw in this deck is if you get the Ranger Gilly. If you're stuck with that card, you're gonna lose pretty high. It's pretty likely that you just lose. Okay, so I get another bird watching means I can guarantee out the Warsong Grunt. So first of all, I'm just gonna play down the Niall. The next turn's gonna be bird watching and tracking, and then alien encounters as well. That's very true, because Death Knight likes having a wide board of, relatively decent trading. Okay, so they're just trading to my 3/3, which is fine. I don't really care about that. This turn's bird watching, get the Warsong Grunt. Then tracking. Get the Char. The Char? Yeah, let's just grab the Char out. Then play down the alien encounters. It means that they can't really deal with my board at the moment. I'm just getting a bit defensive. If they do a trade, I can get 7 damage on 6 of stats onto here. Okay, so they're doing O Manager, so that means that that gets the buff. That one needs to go, so I'm gonna have to trade just into that. Because if I don't want them to have access to like Supernova or whatever. Yep, so just char into it. And then I'll use the tracking because I want to be still establishing what I need. I'll grab this. So I'm still 1 turn off at least. I'm looking for a reserve spot. Okay. So this turn, I think it's just play down a cup of... Oh, I'll use tracking first. Grab the alien encounters. Use the cup of muscle. The counter spell, so I don't have any more cup of muscle in my hand, so I can just play down the alien encounters here. And I'll use a food fight to just get something onto the board for my opponent. Okay, just pass. Okay, so they're just trading to make sure that I can't just do a big grunt onto them. Which is, it's a fine play, but the issue is that I can just get an extremely large one eventually. Grab the ice trap. They do have a coin, so they'll be able to counter it anyway. And then I think I just grab the hidden meaning, be able to get another minion on the board for me. And let's just play down the barrel of monkeys. It's more than likely they're using Supernova Mage. What? Okay, is this lethal? 10 to 6. 8. 14 plus 4. 18. No, it's not lethal at the moment. Play another food fight out. Just char onto that, and then I just go face. The problem is, I don't have a reserve spot. That's the reason why this isn't getting the buff that I need for it. The cup of muscle play still probably was correct. Like, just getting, testing for the counter spell. Like, it was possible they were going to have it. It probably would be the spell they'd go for, but it still is important to, consider that sort of thing. They're probably... Oh, they're just doing deal 5 damage. Okay. Send all the damage face with the trample. So the best way for trample is you trade into the minions with the lowest health first, unless they obviously have a lot of attack. Okay, what are we dealing with the next? See, the issue I think that's going to come up with the next expansion is that these current decks are still feel too powerful. Like, obviously Oracle being nerfed's a big thing, so it gets rid of a few decks. Like, I think even Asteroid Shaman takes a big hit because of that. But the issue is that, like, this deck, for example, doesn't get any effect done to it. And it means that, like, if you're playing Zerg against this, you just get dominated because you have a bunch of low-cost minions that's trying to deal something into a Warsong Grunt that just clears you. Yeah, so it is a little bit, you know, average. I'm just going to keep Titanforge Traps in this hand, because it allows me to get more Discovers. And you can also use it to draw cards as well with, like, Bargain Bin or whatever. So, turn 1's probably just passing still. Turn 2 will be... Oh, hold on. Yeah, turn 2 will still just be passing. I can use, if I want to, I can use Punch Card to take out these two, but I feel like he's probably got, like, the Chalice in his hand to be able to buff it up, so just playing down a minion would obviously be how they want me to do it, so I'm just going to leave it. I think they'll probably end up playing down the 3-4 this turn. Yeah, it has to be really fast. And that's all decks in this format, like, it's crazy how quick and easy this format is. I have two choices here. I can either go for the extremely greedy play, or I can go for the safer play. Let's go for the safer play. It's definitely right doing the safer play in that. Okay, light show. Because if they had gotten the light show, then they would have possibly been able to, run across me quite easily. So I just play down the Char, and then I'm just going to use the buff spell that I have. I'll just do Bargain Bin because I'm trying to still get some other stuff out of my deck. I think that they'll probably end up using a spell, so it more than likely will mean that I'll be getting another minion. Okay, they're using a minion, so I can get another spell. Bird watching means I can get Niall. Just play it down. Not too worried of them posing lethal at the moment. They're not going for a trade, which is somewhat interesting. Okay. So just hit that, and then I can get a bigger buff onto my Warsong Grunt. And I think it's just the barrel here, just in case. I don't think they have any way to lethal me down. Okay, so just using the Chalice to get rid of my dude, or manager. I'm probably just gonna have to send the Warsong Grunt out. I could always just do the Barrel of Monkeys. Or if I go for a bird watching, I can grab the other Warsong Grunt and just trade into that. But I do want to just keep this on the board, that's the issue. They don't usually run any bursts, so any big bursts for it, so I will just use this. Grab the reserve spot. I'll use the Barrel of Monkeys here. I'll get a bunch of them out because they will have another Chalice, but that won't be able to clear too easily. If they have an Oracle, it could be a little bit of an issue, but they do only have 3 other cards in their hand. That was a little bit unlucky though. You can't really play around on RNG, you know, like it just is what it is sometimes. It was definitely unlikely that a light show hit how it did, but you know, I played the best out I could. But looking back on my turns, I probably could have just done the greedy play and I would have won turn 5 or turn 6. Just leaving the Oracle on the board. So get rid of these 2. I might keep the car. I'll get rid of the Cup of Muscle as well, because I am looking for tracking in my 1-drops as my other 1-drops. I get the Warsong Grunt, so I'm a little bit punished for that, but it's fine. I got the Niall as well, so that means my Birdwatching is just useless as 2. Because I don't want to use Birdwatching here, because it's either going to get the Ranger Gilly or the other Warsong Grunt, and I'm trying to get my other buffs into my hand. So I'm just going to use the Hero Power and pass. Next turn's going to be Niall. Because if I had grabbed another thing with my Birdwatching, it means I could have been in a situation where it's a bit awkward for me. Overplanner. They might be playing the Trample Hunter as well. Okay, so I've got my second Warsong Grunt, which is not great, because I can't use reserve spots effectively right now. So I'm gonna have to get that out on turn 5. They've got their Niall down as well. Okay, I got a tracking, which is good. So I'm just gonna use my Hero Power for tracking at the moment. I'm going to use Cup of Muscle because that can help me decide which Warsong Grunt I'm going to put into my hand. Which one I'm going to be keeping. I'll use the tracking as well. Grab the Food Fight, and then I'll use the second Cup of Muscle. Because even just buffing the 2 minions also does the same sort of job for me. It threatens, it's a little bit more threatening. Okay, so they're doing the trample list as well. They've just got rid of they've just traded that. Just play the Warsong Grunt here and just trade. The problem is that they're essentially a turn in front because I had to do the Warsong Grunt like that. But they did just play the Ranger Gilly, so very interesting. So I'm just going to Hero Power here. Reserve spot's always the best for these. Play down my reserve spot, play down my Cup of Muscle. Because I don't really care about this being here. This isn't a concern for me. It means that they keep getting the Rivulet Crocodilus into their hand as well, so they have to use those too. They've got 8 damage sitting on board, but it's going to mean that I can end up trading a lot better into them. Okay, do I have any chance of lethal here? So, 13, 10, 3, 5. No, that's not gonna. There's no chance of lethal through that. Okay, so play down the Titanforge traps. I'm hoping for a... What would I be hoping for on that? Freezing trap, I guess? Because if I want, I can just send that out onto the board. I don't really want to though, so I'm just going to char this. They don't have any other minions that they can deal with, so I can get a little bit stronger. The freezing trap will push that back into their hand, I guess, so it's not that great. But it means that I can... I've still got the food fight active as well. Okay. I definitely cannot use that barrel of monkeys right now. I'm going to use my hero power. I'm hoping for a reserve spot. Alien encounters is useless in this. Just going to grab the cup of muscle. Use the cup of muscle. I'll use one of my food fights. I don't think they'll be able to take it off the board. And then I'll pass over to them. Next turn I'll be able to do the play onto them. So it's either they win this turn or I win this turn. Because they've got the catch of the day in their hand, it is a little bit concerning for that. Dang. Exact lethal for it. I don't know. I couldn't have really done anything differently than that.
Rexa versus Inza. Who's ready for a hoedown?
Let the hunt begin.
Okay, so reserve spot's always a good card to keep. Because if you do end up getting one of your minions that you really want, you can end up using the buff onto it. I should be relatively safe into a Swarm Shaman. Just pass here. Next turn's Bird Watching. Turn 3 is Niall. It's actually Asteroid. That's probably even better for me, to be honest. Grab Niall. You could have been tempted to do the Warsong Grunt in that sort of play, since I do have 2 reserve spots. But I still would need to be looking for my Trample card, because that's the card that I'd be missing and worried about. Which is why I did grab the Niall. I'm going to use Niall, and then I'm also going to use the coin here, because I want to be able to grab, start searching through my deck to get what I need. I think it's just always the Trample card to get myself started. They still won't know what type of deck I am as well, while I've just played down the Niall and used it for bird watching. Because Niall is definitely the best of these, best of the hunter cards. Okay, I got another bird watching, which means I can get access to my Warsong Grunt. So I'll just stick a few Cup of Muscles onto it now. And just go... I don't want to be taking too much extra damage, so I think I'll just trade into this to get it at least out of the way. Because if they have a bunch of asteroids and things like that, it could potentially be some sort of threatening damage. They're just going to trade, which is fine. And they're putting the extra spells into their... extra spell damage into their deck with that, and then extra spells. Oh, I think I just use Reserve Spot here. Hit a Cup of Muscle and then use a Tracking. I think it's just Food Fight. I should end up having enough damage to deal lethal to them if they play another minion down. Yeah. Okay, turn 6 by the way. Oh, it's pretty silly. Okay, so going into next game, it'll just be a similar sort of thing. I'm thinking I might switch decks soon, because obviously I want to look at the different combos, ideas that we've got, rather than just using the same one. I always did know that Trample Hunt is a relatively decent deck, so I don't really need to be, testing and seeing how it goes. Oh, it's looking very balanced. I think I will keep the alien encounters in this. Like, it's normally not correct, but because I'm playing against a priest, which is also is playing quite aggressive, I do want to make sure that I have some sort of way to deal with it. Barrel of Monkeys is quite good too. Tracking, if I get bird watching, I choose that. I think I just grabbed the Cup of Muscle here. Yeah, I'll go Lanessa Paladin. But the thing about Lanessa Paladin is with the nerf to the Oracle, it does become a bit weaker. I think it's just tracking here. Grab the bird watching. Next turn I can get an IL. Obviously, grabbing the War Song would have been nice, but yeah. Okay, so they use bird watching to get their ships. To get this. They're going to send out a 3-4-1 against it, which is fine. I won't have access to my alien encounters until probably 2 more turns, so it's a little bit concerning. Play it on the Nile. I think it's just play a Cup of Muscle onto it, just because it means that it can trade into these. Like, if these trade into it, it can do something. I think next turn I'm going to have to just go for the 2 Barrel of Monkeys in a row, because they're threatening too much damage on board at the moment. So, it's always a Barrel of Monkeys. If I do a bird watching, it means that I will get out one of my Warsong grunts, so if I need to be able to do something here, I can always send them into these minions. Okay, so it's always going to be Warsong Grunt here, but I think that there's too much damage sitting on the board. Yeah, there's too much damage sitting on the board for me. Okay, so we're switched into Lanessa Paladin. Yeah, so obviously a weakness that does come from this deck is that it is going to lose its Oracle. Lanessa's probably fine to keep for this. I'll also keep a Mixologist. And yeah, so I think I might also keep the Stomper, possibly. We'll just see what they end up playing. If they are playing like if it's a likelihood they're playing sorry, if it was likely they were playing a Swarm Shaman, I'd obviously want to be keeping it. But I know that they're not now, since they've just played this down, because this will be an Asteroid Shaman. So this turn I want to make sure that I'm looking to see what my Robocaller can summon. So it actually can only just get the Horn of the Windlord at the moment, since I've got these 2 in my hand. So it's always just going to be just Hero Power and Chill. Next turn's going to be Mixologist and see what I end up getting from it. Because I want to make or possibly might be Robocaller, depending what comes in that. But I want to be able to clear this board before they end up dealing some decent damage to me. and Mixologist has it has a little bit over 50% chance to be guaranteeing something useful. 6, 3, and 1. This can get me 3 cards. I think I'll use it because it may also get me a Miracle Salesman to pose some sort of damage on the board. I don't end up hitting anything, unfortunately, but I'll just put this onto me and pass. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to make it so I'm taking as little damage as possible, because I still think they are playing Asteroid. What do you think about the Winfrey Pirate Handbuff Paladin? I don't think I've seen that. Okay, so yeah, they are playing Asteroids. They still don't have any Asteroids at the moment, which is good for me. I'm gonna play down the Mixologist here. Deal 2 damage to all minions, it clears their board, and I'll also get the one that summons my minion, so I'll be able to also get out my 3-2 back again. Just pass over. So I've now taken control of the board. They could use the Magma onto me to clear this, if they have it. But yeah, I've at least got something now to be posing some sort of threat towards them. So they've got now some Asteroids in their deck, and they're also being buffed at the moment too. Robocaller won't be useful till next turn, so I think I just use the Mixologist this turn. Or I can use Gorgonzormo, or the other option is just using the Oracle. If I play Oracle, I will overdraw, so I think it's just going to be the Mixologist this turn. Gain armor. And we'll summon a friendly minion again, because I want to be making sure that I'm dealing some sort of pressure towards them. Oh, unlucky. And I'll just put a Divine Brew onto myself, just in case one of the Asteroids goes towards my face. I'm not worried about being able to deal lethal damage to this opponent. They get the Shadow block down, so that means they've probably got the Incendious in their hand. I'll just play down mine so I've got something to threaten them with. I am looking for an O manager. I really do need one relatively soon. They're using Triangulate, which means they don't have the Incendious just yet. So this is probably going to be one of their Asteroid Shufflers. Yep, so they're going to shuffle 9 Asteroids into their deck like that. But that should be fine. Like, I'm just waiting to get an O manager to be able to deal lethal. They're doing another Triangulate, which means they're getting even more Asteroids. Hitting to that was a big issue, because that means they can now clear it. I think I just play down the Oracle here. It should get me an Eruption. Okay, I got a Silverwing and I got a Beam. I always play down the Silverwing here, and I'll just play down the Miracle Salesman as well, and just go face. I'm not too worried of them being able to deal lethal at the moment to me. Plus, having a bunch of minions on the board means that it plays around their Asteroids hitting into my different stuff. So they lose a lot of their value that's from their Asteroids. An issue is that I am going to overdraw a card next turn if they end up taking out my Silverwing. Okay, so they're getting their second Shadow block, and this is probably going to be Incendious. O manager's lethal. play this down to get out of my hand. Holy Glow Sticks is not lethal because I have to trade this first. So maybe I just establish my Windlord.
Let me think. For justice.
And then the Holy Glow Sticks I'll be able to get back out in a future turn. Am I worried about this 2-3? Not particularly. So we'll just deal some face damage for the moment, and the next turn we'll be able to deal lethal to them. They do have 42 cards as well, which is a bit of an issue, but since they don't have the Triangulate, their Oracle could be devastating here. Because they have 29 dudes, 29 spells. Okay. Oops. That could have been a bit of a problem for me if it had sent out the Stomper instead of the glow sticks. Yeah, like they did get pretty unlucky there because with all those spells, like yeah, they got pretty unlucky to not draw into one of them. But that also is a reason why I don't particularly like playing Asteroid Shaman, because you know that deck had 30 spells in it, but you can't control where the damage is going, and you also can't I'm playing against a warrior. You also can't. Okay. I haven't seen that before, but it sounds interesting. Yeah, but the reason why I don't like the Astro deck is because you can't control where the damage is going. And it just feels bad if it doesn't land on the particular way you want it to. Okay, always play down the 1-drop here, the Miracle Salesman. 1, 4, and 2. I think it's just play down the Silverwing here. It can allow me to draw cards too and also apply some pressure. The idea behind this matchup is you want to make sure that you're keeping their armor total in a reasonable amount, so then you can do the burst that you need to. Glow sticks, 5, 5, 8. So it can get me Lanessa plus the Prismic Beam. I don't think I really want it that much, so I'm just gonna chill. I'll hit with that and then just chill, because next time I can do some trading if I need to. It's obviously good to get Lanessa out, but if they have Dirty Rat, I don't really want it out in my hand, but that does reveal that I do have the Lanessa if I did that. But the other thing to think about is if I had played it, I only would have been getting a Prismic Beam as well. I'm looking for things like O Managers too. Living Horizon's decent. 8-4-0. That's not what I want either. So just trade here, play this down, go face. I'm not too worried if they get a Ziliax at the moment, like it's still 2 turns away. They're using a shield block, so that means they don't have a brawl, and that means I'm keeping their armor within a reasonable amount for me too. 9-3-6. It can get me possibly an Oracle. It could get me in. That will get me Incendious or the Windlord. I think I do play this one down because I am about to go into the turn that I will be wanting those particular things. Lay down the coin. I'll get the metal detector so I can use it for future turns. And I'm going to trade with my Miracle Salesman and just go face with the rest. Just in case I do need to activate the delicious cheese at some point. I'm keeping them within a reasonable health total as well, which is one of the ways, which is the most important thing when you're trying to deal with a warrior with this deck. Because if they end up getting over like, 60 health, that's pretty much too big for you to be able to deal with. If you can keep them in this sort of range, you can use things like your Mixologist or your Grifter or your Glow Sticks and Oracle and things to be able to deal enough to them. Okay, so they're just launching the starship here, which is fine. So it's just trade, get a new coin. I'm gonna play down the Mixologist and see what I end up getting from it. I think it might just be one that I just want to have to build a board. So get my minions bigger, and then play down the Silverwing and just go face. They've already revealed a Garish's gift to me, so if they have a second one, well, they have a second one, but if they don't, it means that this board should be too strong for them. Plus, they'd also be using all of their mana for that turn. Okay, so they clear most of the board. I do overdraw that, though. So just play this down this turn. I'm gonna use my coin and I'll get a Windlord ready as well. Just so once again I am dealing more damage to them. Just chill. So Lanessa now is pretty close on lethal. I still don't have a Divine Brew, which is a little bit of a problem for me, since I did overdraw that one. But this one will get it once it eventually dies. I got a little bit unlucky as well with my 5 drops, but it should be okay. Okay, so they're using goggles, they're using shield blocks, so it's quite likely they're just going to use another sanitize. Are they going for a brawl? I don't particularly... Oh, it's okay. Keeps a 4/5 on the board. I'm just going to play down the Gold Panna here. And I think it's just chill, because I don't think they're going to be able to freeze this. The snake, I might actually trade away a snake oil to see if I can get something I need. I'll use this so I can get another coin. I don't want to trade another snake oil just because with the Oracle in my deck, it means that I wouldn't be able to guarantee the O managers. And then again, it is floating a mana doing it that way. I will just chill for a turn though. Okay, Grifter's decent. So now basically the only card that I'm looking for is Lanessa. Incendious is fine, so I just play down the Incendious here, use the hero power and chill. It's threatening some more damage onto them, which is the idea that I'm, making sure that their armor still isn't getting too big. At the moment they are up to 35, so I can still relatively easily combo that down. But if it gets much bigger, it will be a bit of a problem for me. Okay, I've got the Lanessa, so I think... But then again, they've just got these minions down on the board. So Lanessa deals 16 from these. This makes it up to 20. I've got to use Grifter and see what I end up getting from it. The deal of 6 damage would have been lethal. But if I just take control of this, hit into that. don't want to use any of my burn at the moment though, that's the issue. Got another snake oil, so I'm just going to trade again. Play down the Miracle Salesman. Use the hero power and just trade into this, I guess. They will have access to Ziliax now with that. But I don't particularly care that much, I don't think. They are up to 17 health, which is now getting to a problem where it's a little bit scary. Sorry, they're up to 17 armor, which is where it's getting a little bit scary for me. They end up getting ham, so... Oh, they got this. So they didn't actually end up getting the Ziliax. Living Horizon's fun to get rid of. Just trade again. Oracle's great here. So I go... Lanessa, Oracle, play down the Divine Brew. Use the coin. Deal own manager damage. Use the coin again. Play that. Use the coin again. Use own manager. Coin again. So the idea right now is I'm just trying to deal as much as I can using my different coins in my burst. Oracle's obviously very useful for making sure that you do get enough into your hand of your spells and things. And that's going to be lethal with how many of those buffs that I've got on here. Because with the Oracle, since you're dealing twice extra the spell damage, it does mean that you end up getting too big with your things, and then obviously the addition of being able to use the own manager to buff up your spell makes it a lot stronger too. But yeah, I think when the nerf comes out for Oracle, I feel like it's going to be a lot weaker.
Uther versus Thrall.
You are in the court of the elements now.
I will fight with honor.
Yeah, the Oracle's definitely the reason why it's going to be a bit weaker because of that. I don't think the meta being quick is going to be as much of a problem for it. It's more so just the Oracle, because, like, as you just saw then, having that down meant that my Lanessa grabbed a bunch of other stuff. Extra spell damage obviously cleared their face, and yeah. Okay, so this is probably the aggressive Swarm Shaman. I'm just going to use Hero Power and Chill. Okay, so they got the Trusty Companion, which means they can trade if they want. But I feel like they're probably just going to do the face damage to me. A weapon would be nice here. I'm just going to use a Divine Brew. I don't really want to use the glow sticks at the moment, so I'm just going to use a hero power to get back some board. It's not likely they're going to be able to... deal a way to deal damage to my face because of that, so it just gives me a little bit of extra time. And it means that they can either deal damage to this or they can deal damage to this, but they wouldn't be able to do a decent trade onto me. Okay, so it's quite likely, just judging by that, they have the Bloodlust in their hand. So I'm just going to go Mixologist here. I would have gone Oracle otherwise if I didn't draw into the Mixologist. Deal 2 damage to all minions is definitely going to be the best. And it's either going to be deal 3 damage or freeze. I think it's just the deal 3 damage. I can then take out these, and it's just left with the 2-1. When I play down Oracle and I use a spell, I think it's guaranteed to get Ohm Manager and Holy Glow Sticks. Okay, so they're using one of their coins here. They're getting the backstage bouncer. So they're threatening a decent amount of damage at the moment. I do want to be able to deal with these, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Yeah. Actually, I still have the beam in my deck as well, so I'll use Oracle here. And I'm going to do the Ohm Manager onto the 2-1. It gets me a coin, but and I can then access the Peacekeeper. But the big idea behind it is that I want to make sure that I'm getting those other spells into my hand. And pass. So at the moment they're posing 8 damage on board plus 9 with the Bloodlust. They have a possibility of 17 damage. It's going to make me overdraw, which is a little bit annoying. Okay, so, their hand at the moment is a coin, and they've got 2 of the Murlocs as well. I think probably next turn I'm just going to be playing down the Peacekeeper. Or is it just Prismic Beam? It's Prismic Beam with this board. So play the audio bot down, use the Prismic Beam. It clears most of them. They will get a 3-3 out of this if they do just trade into that. With this one. But they aren't able to threaten any major damage at the moment to me. Okay, so they got a Drone Deconstructor, so the idea of what I'm doing right now is making sure that they're not able to get an extremely big board, because if they do, that's where the issue comes of them being able to just Bloodlust me down. Horn of the Windlord should be fine for me, because I can just do the Titan play. Actually, I can't do the Titan play. So, if I hit that, play this here, use a Divine Brew, hit an Ohm Manager into the 2-1, Lifesteal into the 1-2. It should mean that that's enough for me to be able to survive till next turn. Because I don't think they'll have a way to deal that 13 damage just from hand. If they get a pop-up book, they could deal 12. Okay, so they get a Trusty Companion, and that's getting buffing up their Murloc. So I know what each of their cards in their hand is now. They do have the 2 Murlocs with Rush, and they also have the Drone Deconstructor. There's 17 cards left in their deck, so the likelihood of them getting the dude is unlikely. Just gonna go for the drawing my 2 minions. If it gets Lanessa, I simply just win. think I've got to use my coins here to get the Incendious online, because then I'll be able to clear the board that's here. They have to use this to hit into here at the moment. So if I give it a Divine Brew, it means that it's a lot safer for me as well. So I'm just going to put a Divine Brew onto here, lay down the Incendious, and then just do some trade. I don't think the Beast Tag matters at the moment, so I'll just trade into the 0-2. Putting the Divine Shield onto here makes it extremely awkward for them. That's the idea of or the reason why I did it. Okay, so they're giving a Divine Shield to their 5-7. I don't think that really matters too much. That does, though. Okay, so that's always going face. I'm looking for Oracle this turn. Because Oracle guarantees the Eruption. Linessa's decent. So if I just go Linessa, Divine Brew, Holy Glow Sticks onto here. It gets me the health back into my hand. I'm still very far away off of actually dealing lethal to them. So if I put a Divine Spirit onto Linessa, that's probably going to be the safest play for me. It means that it would be very awkward for them to trade into it. And I'll just put a Divine Shield onto here as well. I did miss doing a damage like that, so I don't think it will matter, but yeah. So what they're going to have to do here is they're going to have to trade the Horn into my 2-6, into my Linessa. Then they'll have to use the Glowfin to go into it. Or they can do it either, or they could just go... They do take an extra 3 damage if they trade in that particular order though. Okay, so Robocall is useless for this turn, so I'm just going to use my Mixologist. Deal 3 damage. Summon a friendly minion. It could be Linessa and that just wins me the game. I think I've got to trade into this. I can't just leave it alive. Play down the Miracle Salesman, play down the Silverwing, and trade there. So it means that I've got the bigger board at the moment. They don't run Malted Magma, so they won't be able to deal face damage at the moment to this. So they will have to do some trading. They could get the Murloc, the big giant Murloc, out into their hand right now, but I'm hoping my Robocaller gets me some sort of decent choices from my deck. Thrall's Gift means they can use the Lightning Storm. And they're summoning minions using that. Okay, so they're getting some face damage by that. That taunt's a little bit annoying though. I get Wind Fury. 7-6-1. The 1 could be an Eruption. I'll trade the Snake Oil away first to see what I get. Living Horizon's decent. If it's Miracle Salesman, it's not great. I will just go for it because it's a 5-1. Play down the Horn because I can then do the trade here. It means they don't have a board, and it means they've just got the one. Whoops! What just happened then? That was a misclick. That definitely wasn't the correct play. I should have had the 2-1 go into there. I don't know why it didn't work like that. Oh, jeez. What happened? I'm having a quick look because... I think it was my portrait was over it or something. Oh well, I think this is gonna be my last game because that was incredibly poor. I'm gonna have to always kill this.
For
So just take out that. Lay down this.
Sun strengthens my rays.
I must move quickly.
I think I'm just gonna get some more minions established now and I just go face with this weapon. Actually, this may end up meaning that my 4-6 ends up surviving. Then I'm just gonna put a Divine Shield on myself just in case. They do have the Rush dude in their hand though, so I don't really like the likelihood of winning this game. So they can go one of these into that, trade into that. It's still not lethal, but it's very close for them. Okay, so they're trading that. The 4-2 is going to go onto the face. Got 3 damage on board at the moment. It's not anywhere near enough. Oracle can get eruptions. Play Oracle, use Divine Brew. It will get an eruption at least.
How enigmatic.
Okay, Living Mana. Eruption again. Okay, so this goes into here. That goes into there. I can get my weapon online here. Use the coin to get Divine Brew, and then play this down. Go face, so that means they've just got a spell and something else in their hand. Since they weren't able to clear me last time, they should be able to clear me this time. I've still got 1 Eruption left in my deck. I've also got Grifter. The rest of the stuff isn't very useful, I don't think. Like, Speaker Stomper could be okay.
The desert sun
Living Horizon and Minion.
my rays.
I don't need to reveal that I have the Grifter at the moment to them. That's gonna be Hex. So I don't need to play around any more Thrall's gifts from them. Okay, so greedy partner can get me a coin. Use grifter. Let's just take control of the enemy minion here. Take this one. Rush into there. Lay down a 1/1 and go face, because I can't deal with that. The problem is if they get another Turn the Tides, they'll have lethal using that spell. Okay.
To battle.
I don't have lethal on board at the moment. Because they'll take control of my grifter. Oh. The top deck, I didn't know they ran 2 of those horns. Oh well. The extended BM for some reason. Alright, well thank you everyone for coming along for today's stream. I hope that you've enjoyed yourself, and if you're enjoying the content, I obviously have different ones that are available to be doing. You know, that's available offline. I'll leave this stream up for people if they want to view it. But yeah, please continue liking and supporting me. And yeah, bye for now.